Paul Kohler, Liberal Democrat spokesperson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Secretary of State for her statement and of advanced sight of it. What we've heard today is clearly a damning indictment of Conservative mismanagement. Connecting our largest cities with high-speed rail was meant to help boost economic growth and spread opportunity. The original idea, a high-speed rail network connecting London to Manchester and Leeds, was clearly the right one. However, what we end up with is years of delay and billions of pounds of taxpayers' money being poured down the drain with no end in sight. The litany of errors the Secretary of State has outlined is truly shocking. It shows the Conservatives were comatose at the wheel. A lack of oversight, trust and planning has left us with a high-speed railway drastically reduced in scale and inflated in price. The shocking allegations of fraud by a subcontractor are emblematic of the Tories' lack of oversight and disinterest in properly safeguarding the public interest and public money, as we have already seen in the scandal of PPE procurement during COVID. We must now make sure any money lost to fraud is clawed back as soon as possible. May I ask the Secretary of State three things? Can she guarantee that if any fraud has taken place, any money lost will be returned to the government and her department as soon as possible, and the police provided with the necessary resources to fully investigate the matter? The Secretary of State has said that the ministerial task force set up to provide oversight on HS2 had inconsistent attendance from the then Transport Secretary and Chief Secretary to the Treasury. Does the Secretary of State agree that these right honourable members should apologise for these particularly damning lapses? And thirdly, we share the Secretary of State's confidence in Mark Wilde and Mike Brown, but can she say when she expects to be able to give the House an accurate assessment of the full costs of the scheme and when HS2 will finally be up and running? Thank you.
The honourable gentleman raises three very fair issues, and I agree with his assessment that the previous government weren't just asleep at the wheel, they were comatose at the wheel. He asks whether the alleged fraud that has happened in the supply chain will be fully investigated and whether monies will be returned to the taxpayer. I can assure him that no stone will be left unturned in getting to the bottom of this matter. He's also right to highlight the question of poor and inconsistent attendance by previous individuals who held either my role or the Rail Minister's role and Treasury roles. I think it is imperative that politicians who have oversight for these infrastructure schemes stay close to the detail of what is happening, both through their own officials and directly with the executive and non-executive leadership of the project. That's certainly what I intend to do. I know the Rail Minister has a monthly meeting with the new Chief Executive. We've already held a meeting at the Ministerial Task Force. There's another one due very soon, and I've had multiple one-to-one conversations with the leadership team at HS2. He asks when I will be in a position to provide a full update on costs and schedule. Mark Wilde has told me that he will require until the end of this year to do that full piece of work. I'm not prepared to get ahead of that piece of work because I think that's the way that we've got into problems previously, but he can rest assured that as soon as I do have more information, in addition to the 6 monthly report that I provide to Parliament, I will come back to this House.